Hey everybody, this is Cherokee Edwards from Cherokee Edwards Inspires, where we're going to have shows here to talk about life, to talk about what makes your life special, what makes it better, and everybody working together, because together everyone achieves more. Acronym for the word team. Stay tuned and let's get it on. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Cherokee Edwards Inspires show. And today I was asked to talk about urgency. So I'm going to take a little time to talk about urgency, since in the business of sales and salesmanship, urgency plays a big role in the success or destruction of a career or business. Well, the first thing that you have to know about urgency is you have to have something of value for urgency to even work. Without value, urgency means nothing. So if you're talking to someone and they don't like lima beans, for instance, and you walk up to them and say, "Hey, we have one more bowl of lima beans. We got just this is the last bowl. Would you like it?" If the person doesn't like lima beans, what difference does it make if it's the last bowl or if it's the first bowl? They don't want it. They're not interested in it. So you're not going to be able to get them to act on something just because you say it's the last of it, And in business and sales, once you have something of value, it's simple as this. The fear of loss gets people to act. The fear of loss gets people to act. But the only way there's any fear of loss of anything is if there's a value to it. So that's the key to urgency. The key to urgency is setting things up in the beginning. If you say you have 5 of something, well, you have 5 left. But whatever that 5 is, it needs to be something that the person that you're talking to or trying to sell it to sees it as a value, and they don't want to leave without it. So even if they say, "Well, I'm not sure, if I want to do this today, I want to go home and think about it. I want to talk about it, talk it over with my wife, talk it over with my husband," whatever it is that they may use. And I hate to say this, people, but most of the times their excuses to people don't like to act on things right away. First of all, it's important to know that people don't want to be sold anything, but they do want to buy everything. So the key to that thought that I just gave you is put it in the hands of the client. Let the client make the buying decision. Just give them enough information, not too much, but enough information as to make them say, "You know what? What's the harm in me doing it today?" If someone's shopping for a pair of shoes and they really need those shoes, and they see a sign on it that says, clearance sale, they're more amped to buy those shoes right then rather than say, "Well, let me go home and think about it and I'll come back, next week and maybe we'll make this deal." See, there's a clearance on it. And by it being a clearance, that means not only will they probably not be here next week, they may not be here when you leave the store. Because generally when a pair of shoes is on clearance sale, 2 reasons. They're either making room for new ones or they're being bought out. I mean, they're just being sold out, and the store can't keep them in enough. So they just say, "You know what, let's just go ahead and set a clearance sale up," even if they may be bringing them back. So, it's just important that you don't want to be a bully to your clients. You definitely don't want to be a bully to your clients, but you want to make yourself so valuable, and you want them to know that you want to be the fix to whatever the situation is, no matter what it is that you're selling. If you're selling a vacuum cleaner to somebody, you want to make sure that vacuum cleaner will clean better than the other vacuum cleaners or most vacuum cleaners. Have a value, have a presentation design to show the skill set of that vacuum cleaner. I used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. And Kirby vacuum cleaners cost over $1,000. The average Kirby costs $1,500, and it could go as high as $2,000 if you include all the attachments. Well, the key to selling the Kirbys and Simplicities and these higher end vacuum cleaners is you want to use the vacuum cleaner that the homeowner already possesses. So it's not that you're trying to beat down the vacuum cleaner as much as you're trying to show them the inequities of that vacuum cleaner and the importance. If that vacuum cleaner is that strong, what will it do for that family? What will it do if they have asthma? Show them the dust and the dust mites and things that are in the carpet trapped in there. Show them things that are in the bed. Show them things that are in the pillows. Now, here's the thing. If you're not being able to show them and display that, there's no way you're going to get somebody that bought a $99 special at Sears or Kmart or Walmart or anything like that. You're not going to get them to purchase a $1,500 Kirby vacuum cleaner, no matter how strong that thing is. If you can't show them a value and why they need it, there's no sense in them making a decision today. So with urgency, it's purely built on this is what you're dealing with, and this is the solution. Now, when would you like to see the solution go into effect? When would you like to see the problem go away? And sit tight and allow them to answer. Let your clients become part of the sale and of the sales process. Trust the process. Don't be one of those slick salespeople that make up all kind of lies and stories and stuff. I said this before on my podcast, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. So in other words, if there's something talented about you, if there's something talented about the product, the product is good, there's high quality to it, there shouldn't be a real battle over should they do it today. If they walked into your store or your shop or whatever it is that you're selling, or they allowed you to come into their presence, their home, and they know that you're coming there to sell them something, then half the battle's already won. Now it's up to you not to mess it up. One of the things I did when I sold timeshare is, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you can sell timeshare, you probably can sell anything. But the reason why I say that is you don't have to sell people on the vacation. They already come to you. They already know they're probably going to go on vacation. So it's not hard to get a vacation commitment. The trick is, how do you get them to do it today when that's what the company and the business is all about? And when I say the trick, it's really not a trick. It's always in the value of what you're going to give the client. Now, my thing was I wanted to give them personalized service. That was a big thing for me, is to give people personalized service. I wanted to be the one that would help them make reservations, help them understand the process so that they didn't have to feel like when they spend that $25,000, $30,000 or more for a vacation that they don't even get to use usually until the next year, that they're not trying to do everything on their own and they know they have a go-to person. That's the great value that you can possess. Now, you say, okay, so where's the urgency in that? The urgency is simple. In that case, I would actually let them know that there's no guarantee that they will have me. And I knew that I would stop at a certain number and then be able to work solely with referrals. Now, what that means is, let's just say hypothetically, you've made 100 sales. And you said to yourself, I want to stop at 200 clients. Well, if the person's in front of you that day and they see enough value in you, and you tell them that you want to stop at 200, and they say, well, where are you now? And you say you're at 100. And they say, oh, okay, so we have plenty of time. You say, well, I average 100 deals or 200 deals a year. I average, basically 20 sales per month. So now all of a sudden you change the dynamics of the presentation. Because if you average 20 sales a month, in 5 months from that point, you should be at that next 100, and it could be faster. Now, the other thing is, if you wanted to do it a little shorter period of time, You want them to know that you're not allowed to see the same family multiple times. So, and I'm going to tell you guys something. That could be true. So you guys probably say, well, that's not true because if they come back, I could see them again. Not necessarily. If you're that good, you're either seeing new people or you're seeing referrals of people you've sold before. So that could actually be a sales point for you. I'll be back in a moment for station identification, and we'll get deeper into this. Come on back, guys.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right, guys. This is Cherokee Edwards. I'm back now. And we were talking about urgency. And I want you to think about things. When we talk about urgency, think about, okay, guys, think about the first time you saw that young lady that you always wanted to talk to, or you saw this beautiful girl and you want to talk to her, right? I don't care if it was elementary school. I'll tell you a story about it in a minute, but let's just talk about this. Now, she's on her way to the bus. And as a child, even a day feels like a week when you want to get something off your chest. I mean, time just seems to fly, So you want to say something to her. She's going to her bus. You have a moment to say something. Now, your friend likes her too. And so does a lot of other people. Well, here comes urgency. If you don't know how to use urgency, then you're probably going to watch somebody else say something to her, and then you're going to sit there and kick yourself and wish you were to talk to her. I'll give you an example of what I was talking about. One day back when I was in junior high school, I know they call it middle school now, there was a girl I liked, and we were at a school dance, and I really wanted to talk to this girl. I mean, there was several times this happened, and I was really shy. I really was. I was shy. We smile at each other. She's over there with her girlfriends. I'm over there with my buddies, and nobody's making a move. And real talk, I should have been the one to make the move. Well, I got shy so much that the dance was over. I mean, literally, by the time I tried to get up the heart to go dance with her or go talk to her, the dance was over. So one time we had a dance, and we would go to skating rinks and things like that. And her big sister came up to me and said, come here, Cherokee, let's go dance. So we went out and started dancing, and I couldn't believe it because everybody really liked her. She was the upperclassmen. The guys in her grade liked her. The guys in our grade liked her. Everybody liked this girl. And she told me something. She whispered in my ear while we were dancing. Now I'm all excited because I can't believe I'm dancing with the prettiest girl in the school, really. She whispers to me and she says, you know what? You're too cute to be shy. And you have way too much character. Now, it took somebody that not only did I respect, but I actually really, really liked. So I had no reason to believe she would lie to me. Now, remember, she's the older sister of the girl that was in my grade and in my class. So for me to get something so high to dance with me, imagine the confidence that instilled in me. She says, go ask Monique to dance. I promise you, she's going to dance with you. See, she already knew she liked me too. Here's the problem. I had no urgency about myself for those times, so it didn't make me look any more attractive to her. It just made me look like a coward. Like somebody that maybe it might have made her think I didn't like her. Well, guess what, guys? In business, it's the same thing. In business, if you're afraid to ask for the sale, that means you don't have a valued product. You have an inferior product, or you yourself is inferior. You think you are inferior and you're not good enough, which means you don't have enough confidence, because I don't believe it's that you're not good enough. I believe that you're not convinced that this is the best product for that client. Or I don't believe you believe that the product is good at all. You either don't believe in yourself or you don't believe in the product. Because if you believe in both, urgency is not really a problem. Matter of fact, if you're that good at what you are selling and the product is that good, you actually don't have to sell it. What you do is listen. A big thing in sales, especially commission sales, ask questions skillfully, listen very carefully. Again, ask questions skillfully, listen very carefully. If you learn to do those two things, because most salespeople do not learn that, if you learn those two things, once again, you are halfway home yet again. That is giving you so much power in the environment of sales. I worked at Circuit City and I was able to sell, TVs, DVD players. That was back when DVDs first come out real good. It was back in the 90s. And once again, it was just, I got so excited about what I was selling and what I was looking at, that the process was more of what people were jumping at and buying was the way I was acting toward the product. So the company was really smart. What they would do was put a certain amount of DVD players out on the floor. If you guys remember going in Circuit City, Best Buy does it too. A lot of these places, they do that. They'll put a certain amount of whatever it is that's out now. They'll put that out on the floor. You just grab the box and go and check out, right? Well, that's really smart, because if they have people that are energetic, enthusiastic about doing their presentations, what generally happens is that show is enough to have somebody say to them, hey, we have 5 of these left. I remember saying it all the time, and I was convinced. And the store manager was smart enough to let me be convinced that that was it. Now, of course, they had shipments coming in, but for that purpose and time, I would give a presentation so strong that people would come and watch the show. There was a movie, a 007 movie with Pierce Brosnan in it. And I think it was Die Another Day or something like that. But anyway, there was a scene in that movie that I just fell in love with. I couldn't believe it, but it showed the sharpness of the DVD players over VHS, over the VCRs, right? That was the scene where Pierce Brosnan and the girl jumped through the glass window, in that building. So what I did one night, nobody was there. I was just, playing with the DVD player and learning it. So I hit the toggle. And once you start doing frame by frame, you found out the entire glass shattered before they jumped into it. Because I was like, I know these windows are very thick in the inner city. So I was like, how in the world did they do this? So I kept clicking. And then all of a sudden, from corner to corner, you saw the glass shatter. I mean, like just literally shatter to the point where they could jump through it and not hurt themselves. So it was like a tiny explosive happened. And then, of course I stopped the frame. That became my presentation. Well, let me tell you what happened. From the next day on, it was so easy for me to sell these DVD players because I kept doing the same thing. I would go right to that scene and I would show people that one scene, and I would stop it and I would say, watch how sharp this picture is, guys. The screen, the sheet of glass is going to shatter right before they go through it. And guess what, guys? That was just a movie that I like, right? And it just so happened to show the quality, the very high quality resolution of the DVD player. So I ended up a lot of times selling the DVD player, the TV, the theater sound, all this stuff, and the extended service plan. I know y'all remember that. But that's what made me successful selling the video and audio departments in Circuit City. So whether it's timeshare, whether it's appliances and electronics, cars, clothes, whatever it is, including yourself, there's an urgency that must be paid. When you look at someone, ladies, when you're out and you're shopping, you always want to look your best. Why? Because you may, if you're not with someone, you may meet Mr. Right instead of Mr. Right now. So you get your hair, your nails done, you're looking so beautiful, you're dressed nice. You go to a party, you go to a club, you're going to look as good as you can. And the reason is because there's urgency involved. There's competition out there. You want to look better than the other women that are there so that we notice you. And believe me, ladies, we did the same thing. We went to the barbershop, we work out, we got nice, a nice little shirt, pants, shoes. We always want to have nice, clean shoes on, because when we meet you, we know we only have a certain amount of time to make that impression. And you only get a first time to make a first impression. You get one chance to do that. That's what urgency is about. Urgency is why the product, why you, and why now. Those are the three questions that need to be asked, need to be answered before urgency will show you the benefit. You won't have the benefit of urgency if you can't answer those questions. Why the product, why you, and why today? So the only way you're going to answer those questions, why today, is when do you want the problem fixed? Why me? Because I'm not going to allow anything bad to happen to you. And why the product is because the product is the solution. It's that simple. So when you start talking about salesmanship, instead of just trying to show people how great of a salesperson you are, show people how great of a listener you are. If you listen well enough, the urgency will take care of itself. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to sell everybody. And another thing that I tell people, you may sell everybody. Everybody might be sold on what you're showing them. But everybody's not going to go on contract that day. I was real big on saying to myself, I want to sell everybody that ever sits in front of me. And then I want 30 to 40% of them to leave with the product. If that happens, you're going to be extremely successful. Now, just for a little proof that that's true, in 1999, I started selling the timeshares. I couldn't give it away. I couldn't give it away for the first 3 months. 34 tours I had, and all no. And it actually was 33, the 34th one I sold. But most people were being fired at that time, including myself, was on the chopping block. So it went for 3 months, I couldn't give it away. And then the next 6 months, no, it was really 3 months, but 6 months of me working in the business, I made 6 figures. And I had never been close to 6 figures in my life. That's the power of commission sales and urgency working together. And then in my first 4 years, I went from sleeping in a car for 3 months to making over $1 million selling timeshare in 4 years. So that gives you an example of just how powerful commission sales are when someone knows how to use urgency. Why today? It could be a point where you have done something, you bring something to the table that they've never seen before. It's got to be something about you that's different from everybody else that these people have sat in front of. And to be honest with you, a lot of it is going to be your passion. If you're not working in your passion, if you're not sold yourself on the product, then you need to go sell something else. I always told people, regardless of what people said, I could sell ice to an Eskimo, I could sell sand to an Arab, I could, whatever. All these great analogies that they could use to describe my sales ability. But here's what I used to tell people. I can't sell anything that I don't believe in. If I don't believe in it first, I can't sell it. Because I do have a conscience, and I do feel like when people come back and they say this doesn't work, that bothers me. So the first thing I want to do is figure out how can I help, how can I fix it? And when you have the attitude of gratitude, that will also help you with urgency. A lot of people say, oh, this is my pitch. Can you help me with my pitch? Can you help me with my pitch? Well, I'd rather say, can you help me with my presentation, my delivery? Get out of the habit of calling it a pitch, because a sales pitch to me says scam. It's a trick. Even if you don't mean it that way, that's the undertone, thought behind it when you say, yeah, this guy gave me this sales pitch or this sales spiel. Another thing that I would recommend, I'm always, when I do interviews, I always ask people what books they read and this, that, and the other. A good movie for commissioned salespeople to see is called Boiler Room. The Boiler Room. That was a movie. I watched The Boiler Room 100 times at least when I first got into the timeshare world. Yeah, there was some shiesty individuals in there, but the reason you watch something like that, look at the confidence that these people have. Another good movie for you to see without, a lot of I'm not going to tell you everything, but the movie is good, is The Wolf of Wall Street. Very good movie about sales and salesmanship, right? You want to see things, and you want to look at skills that you see great salespeople possess. What do they all have in common? Usually they have great character. They have a great amount of confidence, which leads to a great urgency presentation. That's it's as simple as that, guys. It's as simple as that. If I have a sales team, which I do, if I have a sales team and marketing team, I want to make sure they understand the product inside and out. Even though I'm also going to tell them, telling is not selling, so don't just try to tell them every little thing about the product. Again, ask questions skillfully, listen very carefully. I give trainings on this. I have live audios and presentations that you can listen to and hear me close deals down that are in the tens of thousands of dollars. I sold one timeshare, which is one of my records in the industry, for $1,350,000. That's the largest deal to one family, and that was 10 upgrades inside of 5 years. In one sitting, it was 3 million points sold, and that was back in 2002. And that was for $185,700. Then I broke that record the very next year with the same family for $186,700. And that was for timeshare. You could buy a house for that, especially back in that time. You can buy a house for that in some areas right now. So the thing is, it wasn't just, oh my God, this guy sold all this money, all this timeshare. It was, this family was so gracious and so great and wonderful that they wanted to give vacations to the survivors of 9/11. They wanted to make sure people could go on cruises and things like that, and have a legacy for their family and their children and grandchildren. And they felt like, which I say a lot of times now, that family actually taught me this. They said, well, yeah, we spent over $1 million for this, but if we split up that $1.3 million amongst our children, right? Our children may have, and grandchildren may have, let's just say hypothetically, $135,000 a piece or whatever it might be, or even if it was $1 million. When they spend that money, it's gone. There's nothing for them to look forward to after that. If they didn't learn how to invest it, if they were bad with money, then it's gone. The legacy is gone. But with the ownership that they had, and of course now because of the way my company is, I would never sell it this way through a developer because I don't have to. But this way, the families are still using it. And I call them mom and dad. We were very close, and the husband passed away. You know, I call him dad, but he passed away a few years back. So part of that legacy is already into motion. Now, Mom V is still living and she's doing her thing, and God bless her for that. But these are things, you should be able to tell stories about families that you've helped, that you've assisted. And they used to travel with me everywhere I went when I would do presentations. So imagine, I go into a place, a city, people say, oh, this guy's a salesperson, he's just trying to sell me stuff. And then I got like 6-7 families with me that would actually sell it for me. And it's built around our relationship. So I hope this helps you. I hope it does something for you salespeople out there. Urgency is a very powerful tool, but it's got to be used correctly. All right. So with that, this is Cherokee, and I want you guys to stay safe, wash your hands, God bless, and I'll see you next time.